Is it recorded? Is it being recorded? Okay, let's start the session now. So good morning, everyone. It's really a pleasure here to have the regular sharing session on Saturdays. And today we are very glad that we are going to share on the Vietnamese labor code. And before we start, I just want to give a little bit introduction on HRM. HRM is a human resources community whereby we welcome all the HR professionals in Asia to share and exchange ideas. And we also organize regular sharing sessions so that we can add value to each other. And today we are having the labor code, labor law, and the speaker, the presenter, is a very experienced HR manager working in Vietnam. She's now the senior manager of a food company there. And I will pass the control to her, and she's going to talk, if she like, talk more about herself before she tell us more about the labor code in Vietnam. Okay, I would like to pass the control to Hien. Our speaker today is Pham. Okay, let's welcome Hien.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all in the beautiful Saturday morning like today. So today I'm very glad to share with you overall briefing about the Vietnamese labor laws. Before my sharing, so I would like to introduce something about myself. Now I'm living in Hanoi, the Vietnam capital, and I have more than 50 years working experience in HR for various HR roles. During my 50 years working in HR, I have a lot of chance to interact with the people and to face with a lot of HR issues related to the labor code. So and you know that the Vietnamese labor code is quite complicated because beside the official laws, so we have a lot of instructions. We have a lot of the government decisions to regulate for related to the human resource. So to implement the labor code in Vietnam is quite complicated and quite difficult for HR to implement. And so now due to our time limit, so today I would like to brief for you overall to make you aware about the Vietnamese labor law. So about agendas today, so I will go through some overall regulations like the no prison of forced labor, no child labor, working hours, harassment and discipline, non-discriminations, freedom of associations, health and safety, wage and benefits, maximum working hours environment, and finally we talk a little bit about the communication and record keeping, monitoring and compliant work contracts. So in our labor laws, we regulate a lot of things, but this is the main points that I want to share with you today. So Rita, can you next plate for me? Yeah. So related to no prisons of forced labor, you see in Vietnam labor law, the government regulate that maltreatment of workers and the use of forced labor in any form shall be prohibited. So you know that the employment and it also regulates that the employment relationship between the worker and the employer shall be established and developed through the negotiations and the agreement on the principle of volunteers, equality, cooperation, respect each other. We think that this the win-win cooperation between the employee and the employer. So it states very clear in our labor law.
Hien, what is the minimum age of workers in Vietnam?
Yes, next slide. So you can see that can you next slide? Yes. In the for the minimum age in Vietnam, the minimum age for worker is 15 for all industries.
Okay, but you mentioned about maltreatment and forced workers, right? How does it work? What's meant by maltreatment and what's meant by forced labors?
How to say about the maltreatment? So we can see that in the for the employer we need to have a very clear a very clear statement for all employees about the working conditions, about the regulation within the companies, and about the human resource policies for all the employee.
I see. But how about what's meant by forced labors? Does it mean that the employer is forcing their laborers to work long hours? Then this is what we meant by forced labor.
For the forced labor, for the forced labor, it means that sorry, can.
Hi, Hien, can you hear me?
Hello, can you
yeah,
hear me?
I can. Yeah, just continue. Yes.
Yes. For the forced labor here, we mentioned that this how to say, we don't have the labor law, the labor law not allow the employer have any action or any, how to say, any action or any
you mean using force on the neighbors by hitting them?
Yes, we on the how to say, on the orders or on the activists, the pilots with is being built with the forced labor. So so for example, we ask them to do some things unpaid, some kind like that. So for example, we ask them to work, but the employer refuse to pay.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So in our labor law is a prohibit.
Okay. And you also mentioned no prison, right? What's meant by no prison? That means when employers do not employ any ex-prisoners. Is that what it meant? If somebody was in a jail and then they somehow they were discharged from the jail, and then would they be employed by employers in Vietnam?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But when they were in a prison, nobody will employ them, right? Not even the government, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a bit different, you know. When I think in Hong Kong or other part of the world, they use prisoners to do some production work, and of course prisoners are paid very minimal, but I can, yeah, they're still employed maybe at a very minimal amount to perform some of the production work, but of course it's not in a big scale. It's not very complicated, but they are still employed. Yeah, so it's a bit different from other part of the world. Okay.
Yeah. But in Vietnam, in prisons, we allow on the prison on the people that to work, but just for the educations.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay. 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 So Hien, will you like me to move the next page?
Yes, next page, please. Thank
This
you.
one, no child labor.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the minimum age for worker is 50 for all industries. This is the minimum age. But when we use the workers from the 50 to under 18, we the employer needs separate record, like the date of birth, homicide, and the result of periodic health checks. Before they worked.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Hien, are child labor very serious in child labor issue very serious in Vietnam? Is it very serious?
Yes, quite serious.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then how does the government control it? Just for your information, like in China, there are lots of production workers there. Some of them actually are below the age of maybe 18, below the age of the authorized age. And then, and also they work long hours. So actually is the US companies would ask their audit team to go to China to audit them to see if there would be situation where child laborers exist. So in Vietnam, the customers do the same thing to perform audit on some of the factories in Vietnam in order to control this kind of situation.
Yeah, yes. In Vietnam, the government control through some channels. The first channels like the report on the quarterly. We need to submit the label report, label management report to the government. So in this report, we need to register from all the manpower status, and we need to register the age of the workers as well. Yeah. This is the first channel that the government control, and the second channel they establish a lot of audit group to come directly to the company, especially for the manufacturing in industrial park, and they track directly.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And besides that, in each company we always have the trade union. So the trade union representative will have the authority to make sure that authority to check about the worker labor force within the internal, to make sure that all the worker is under 18 are registered, and yes, to and protect for their interest.
I see. And I have a very interesting question. Would people use fake ID card just to tell the people that they have reached the minimum wage?
Yeah.
How do you avoid how will you avoid it? How do you verify it?
Yeah. Sometimes we face with these situations when we have the questions with someone we consider that is lower than 15. So we come directly to their arrest, permanent arrest, and and it's like the hometown to check directly with the authority there.
Oh, okay. Very interesting because it happens in China as well. And I always think that Vietnam actually is the China in its 60s or 70s. So a lot of things
Yeah.
happen in China also happen in Vietnam. Okay, so Hien, will you like me to move to the next page?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yes, for the working hour, I see. I think that is the simple and same with other country. We have the 8 hours per day for working, including 30 minutes break or 45-minute break for the break if our employee need to work overnight for the night time. And per week, normally we have the 48 hours per week, but this regulation that now that's apply for the manufacturing only. For the office of the back office, now we have just 40 to 42 hours per week only.
Hey, you mentioned about 30 minutes break, right? Is this something mandatory and the company can make it 1 hour, right? 30 minutes is the minimum required by law.
Yes, the minimum. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I have when you talk about this 30 minutes break, right? I think most popular would be lunch break, right? I have a very interesting question for you. When I was I was spending sometimes in Vietnam, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And then during lunch hours, I find it a bit eye-opening for me because at that time I was working for a shipping company, so it's an office environment. And during the lunchtime, after they had their lunch, most of them were sleeping on the floor. Is that very common in Vietnam that people sleep on the? Of course, they sleep. They have a mat. They put a mat on the floor and then they sleep on the mat. Is this something very common in Vietnam? That was my first time seeing. I just thought, oh, not everybody, most of them were sleeping on the floor, on the mat, and the mat was on the floor. I just, whoa, when I was walking to the direction of the washroom, I had to wear carefully, otherwise I would step on their bodies. Is it common in Vietnam? That is something which was totally new to me. And is it common?
Not yet. This past normally it will happen for the government officer. They use they have used to old habit. So after lunch, they always need to have a short sleep before coming to the afternoon working hours. Normally, but for the MNC multinational company working in Vietnam, so we don't have any habit like that. Even we have the lunch working hours, but we don't sleep during the lunch time during just the break like this. So it depends, and it also depends on the company's culture. For the Vietnamese company with the how to say leader is the Vietnamese totally. So sometimes we have the company like that, a habit like that. But for the companies with the management like come from other countries, so we don't have.
I see. But don't get me wrong, actually having afternoon nap is very good to our health. But the way that they're all sleeping on the floor just gave me a very, very interesting feelings that, oh, that was my first time seeing it. And I just thought that it's quite common even now.
No.
Yeah, okay. So should we move on to the next slide?
Yes, next place time.
Okay.
Yes. For the harassment or discipline, So I would like to share with you a little bit about the according our Vietnam labor law. More, again, the maltreatment of workers is prohibited, and the employer have the obligations to respect all the workers' honor, dignity, and need to treat worker correctly in the right way. And we all how to say, we need to in Vietnam's labor law, they promote the female worker, and they require on the employer need to respect and need to respect on the female workers. So yes, so on the acts by employer, too often the female worker are strictly prohibited.
I see.
Yes,
I see.
yeah. Especially when you see for the MNC companies or the foreigners investment. So in the kinds of company, we have the, how to say, the speak up light to raise on the habit or on the acts that violate this article. For the Vietnamese company, we have the trade union there. So with for the trade union, they always how to say, they always protect for on the labor force, and especially for the female workers.
I see. But what's meant by offending their female workers' dignity and honor? What's meant by that? What kind of behavior is considered as offending their dignity?
For example, for the sexual harassment.
Okay.
The second line, the employer assign for the female worker to work in, how to say, some very heavy works.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somehow sexual harassment is found, what would be the consequence? Like, will the employer be penalized, or the person, the employee who did the sexual harassment be penalized? What does the law say?
For the laws, we just how to say, regulates quite generous. But in each company, we have the separate regulation related to the sexual harassment. For example, we have the speak up lines. So when we know all the female know some case like that, all the female worker have fall into that situation, so they reach to the speak up hotline, or they come to directly to the trade union or the human resource to speak up. So after within 20 hours after receiving this information, one investigation committee need to establish and invest on the issue for the issues. And after that, it's quite heavy. So we come to the police to raise. If it's not quite, how to say, just talking, or just not really serious, so we how to say, have the discipline committee to implement within the internal only.
I see. Okay, got it. In Hong Kong, we also have similar law or regulations. And if somehow sexual harassment is found in an office, and employers do not take action, then the employer will be penalized by paying a certain fine, or so it's serious that employer has to take action. Okay, so would you like me to move to the
Yes,
next page?
next slide, please. Yes, for the this slide is repeat for some ideas above for the non-discrimination. So in our Vietnam's labor laws, we regulate that every person shall have the right to work, to close freely, to time the work of trade, and to improve professional skill without any discriminations in respect of sex, race, social belonging, or religions. So it like the how to say and we indicate that labor relationship between worker and the employer shall be established like win-win corporations. The employer must implement the principle of equality between the man and the woman in respect of recruitment, employment, advancement in wages and remunerations. So in we implement in and establish on the HR policy to follow this regulation to build the how to say the fair working environment within the company.
I see. Non-discrimination.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have similar laws in Hong Kong as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
important that we have such kind of law to protect the rights of the neighbors. Okay, move to the next page. Hien?
Yes. Yes. Next plate.
Okay.
Okay. So like I said before, in each company we have the trade union representative. So it's regulated in like the freedom of associations, and according to Vietnam labor law, in order to represent and defend the rights and the interests of workers and the labor collective, we will set up the trade union organization in every enterprise. For the labor law, we regulate very clear that with each company have from 10 workers and above. We need and more. We need to have a trade union there.
So it's mandatory, right, for each company to set up a labor union, right?
Yes.
Okay.
These
So
are manuals.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter whether your company having only maybe 10 people or less. It doesn't really matter, but they have to do it, right? They have to set up a trade union, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Next
page.
Yes, next page.
Okay.
So in the next page, I want to introduce with you a little bit about the health and safety regarding to the personal protect for the health and safety regulation. So in health and safety regulation, according the law, the employer shall be responsible for providing adequate means of protection to the employees, ensuring the safety and health, and improving the working condition of the employees as well. So we have a lot of government decrees to regulate following the labor law. This point of labor law, for example, for the personal protective equipment, according our law, the worker engaged in dangerous or harmful work must be provide the protective clothes, allowance in case, and other preferential treatment as regard to hours work and rest.
I see.
And all the employer shall be responsible for providing means of protection to the worker, ensuring the health and safety For example, we will have the personal protective requirement, and workers are required to use the personal protective equipment providing while working.
I see. Got it.
Yes, for the protective machine guard, following our labor law, the employer must ensure that the machinery, equipment, workshop, and storehouse are checked and repaired regularly in according with safe and health standard. For the dangerous chemical, the employer shall ensure that the workplace meet the standard on spec. For example, for line health standard permit in respect of dust, toxic gas, electromagnetic field, heat, noise, and other harmful elements. Yes. For example, at workplace, holding dangerous and harmful elements like cause accident, the employer must provide the technical and medical facility and personal protective equipment to ensure prompt secure in case of emergency or accidents. So and this the government track how to say very carefully quarterly or annually with each enterprise. They come directly and check.
Okay.
For example, for the chemical, according our Vietnamese labor law, the production, maintenance, or transportation of chemical equipment, material, energy, electric, the trend of technology and importance of new technology must be done in conformity in the norm of labor safety and labor sanitation.
Okay.
Yes. So for the firefighting, on the enterprise is located on so we have the condition on fire safety for enterprise. For example, an enterprise is located on a special location which has a people working in shall be ensure the follow the song being ensure that the enterprise must set up the fire safety regulation, restriction size, notify size, execution plan applicable with the site and enterprise operational conditions. We need to set up a policy and assign personnel responsible for the firefighting and prevent in the preventions in the enterprise. We need to
fire drill mandatory in any office building. Fire drill.
Yes.
Okay.
This is mandatory.
Okay.
And even on the enterprise need have the training conducted by the government officer. Okay. And we need to have the certification issued by the government for our operation as well.
I see. Okay.
Okay, for the fire inspection, for the first aid, the business has the responsibility to organize the healthcare for the labor. And must give the first aid and the emergency aid to the labor when necessary. So in each enterprise, we always have the the medical office for the employee.
Yeah.
The health examination the same. So in in recruiting and arranging a label. The label user sells based himself on the health criteria for each time of work. We must organize the training, guidance, and inform the label of the regulation and measure of safety and sanitation. The possibilities of accident to be prevented in the water of each label.
Oh, you mentioned about these health examinations. It's different from, actually it's different from the pre-employment medical checkup, right? It's different or it's the same?
Yeah.
It's different, right?
It's a different. This how to say is like the health health protection system setting up within the enterprise as well. And it including the health checking up health checking ups. So yes, and the health checking up is a point a main point in the health examinations.
Okay.
So
according
normally
to the,
we have the sorry.
So according to the law, does it say that medical examination for each employee is required every year or every 2 years? Does it have this kind of law?
Yes, we ask for the medical checkup every year.
Okay.
Every year. Yes, we within the company we need to organize the medical checkup for all the worker, including the health checkup, the training and the training as well.
Okay, so every year is the legal requirement, right? It has to be every year. Okay.
Yeah, every year, and we need to record on the evidence for the medical for the health examinations, and the government official will come directly to us to check every year as well.
I see. Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yes, for the health room, like I mentioned above, on the enterprise must establish a department of the person in charge of healthcare of the enterprise, and be attend to on work hour in the enterprise. Yes. Okay. For the canteen food license, so enterprise who we need to deal with the high risk of food safety have to be authorized and certified by the local authority agency.
Okay.
Okay.
Move on.
So we have a lot of things that we need to have to set up about the food hygienic the hygienic training for all the staff as well.
Okay. Okay. So should I move to the next page?
Yes, next place, thanks.
Okay. Okay.
About the waste and benefits. In Vietnam, according to Vietnam labor laws, the waste of a worker is agreed upon the between the party to the labor contract and paid monthly based on the productivity, quality, and the of the work performed. But we have the way the minimum wage rate regulated by the state. Yes, and
does it have to go through the labor union to decide on the wage of the worker?
Yes, the process is the HRM based on the how to say in Vietnam we have the labor department, labor department. So the labor department officer will draft the minimum wage, and we need to get the how to say the comment or feedback all the relevant party like the trade union, like the women unions, something like that. And after that, we will have the discussion in the National Assembly before the government issue the finalize the minimum wage for Vietnam every year.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So in Vietnam, we will have the minimum wage we will have a regulation for minimum wage for local investment and minimum wage for foreign investment as well. Okay. For the salary scale, the employer shall be responsible to establish the salary scale and wage table for the worker in the organization. And the way should be established after having the consultations with trade union and now to all employee one established. And this salary scale shall be registered and approved at the local labor department before its implementation. Yes.
Okay.
So it's a quite transparent. For the delay in payment. For the delay in payment, so an employee shall be entitled to receive the salary directly in timely. But in special case, in late payment ways, the employer must settle the outstanding wage within 1 month and pay to the employee compensation equal to at least the interest earned on the amount due to calculate by reference the interest rates observing deposits by the state bank at the time when the wage was due. So it means that when we pay the salary, delay to pay the salary for the employee, we need to have the compensate for the amount following the amount for all the days that we pay late to compensate with the interest rate deposits by the state bank.
But what does the law say about the pay date?
Yes,
like in Hong Kong, we have to pay them 7 days after the pay period, after the month that they performed their work.
Yeah. Yes. The delay in payment here, the law regulates. For example, we pay after 1 month.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, for some days it's okay.
Oh, I see. That means, say for example, this month for the pay of October, employer can pay them anytime in November. Am I correct?
No. Normally we have just we will pay at the end of the month.
That means they have to pay at the end of October.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So after October, it will consider as an offense.
Yes.
Then, okay. They need to pay the penalty. Okay. Got it. Okay.
For the with holding deposits, how to say, the workers have the right to be informed of the reason for any deduction from their wage. And before making any deductions, the employer must consult with the executive committee of the trade union of the undertaking. And the total of deduction is not allowed to exceed 30%, 30% of the worker wage in any month.
I see. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. For the trial, how to say, periods
Probation, right?
This term yes, the probation. This term I use exactly we allow following the law. But for the probation, we have the very strictly regulations. For the timing, the regulation, the duration of the probation is not exceeded 60 days in respect of the job which require technical and professional skills of a person graduate from a junior college or college at high level. 30 days for the job requires skill of personal graduate from the high school only. 6 days with the job in very simple, not skill. Yes, and during the probation, the salary need to pay for the employee at least 70% of the normal wage for the job.
Okay.
Yes, and after the probation, the employer need to notify the employee about the probation results and need to inform the results at least 3 days before the probation end.
Okay.
Yes.
3 days before.
Yeah. So we need to estimate the timing for the probation assessment, because when we need to finalize all the results 3 days after before the probation and inform directly for the employee as well.
But how long can we extend the probation?
No, we couldn't extend the probations.
Oh, okay, interesting. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't. Yes,
Okay.
maximum 2 months, and after 2 months, we need to confirm that it's a pass or not pass.
Oh.
If the employee pass, we sign off the labor contract. If not pass, so we say goodbye.
Wow, very black and white. Very black and white. Okay.
Yeah, and for this point, very strictly, and I see that even for example for the difficult jobs which require a lot of time to learn, to require employee take a lot of time to learn, and after 2 months even they couldn't work, but the employer need to confirm pass or not pass.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay.
Okay, for the training, the business which recruit trainees or the we need to provide the training for all the employees. And we have the mandatory training and the the leadership trainings, and within the enterprise. Yes, and all the training course we need to some training course we need to comply with the government regulations. Yes, okay. And we need to invite the government officer to come to train and to train for our employee.
Okay.
Yeah. For the allowance for dangerous conditions, the person working in dangerous and toxic conditions shall receive allowance in case and enjoy the treatment in respect of how it works, house of works, and the breast in accordance with the laws.
Yeah.
So we have some enterprise. We have some kind of allowance for fixed allowance for the employee if they need to work in dangerous conditions. Yes, and it pays together with the salary as well. Yeah. For the downtime, downtime, during the time of worker interruption is best following the as follow. For example, if the interruption is called by the label user, the label the employee shall receive full salary.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. If for example, in other case, if the interruption is caused by an interruption of power of water supply, beyond the control of the label user, or by any other force cause, the pay shall be agreed upon the two parties and must be met at any rate, but not be lower than the minimum wage.
Okay.
The overtime compensations, we have the how to say very clear about the overtime compensation. In each year, one employee is allowed to work, but not over 200 hours per year for the overtime.
Oh, 200 hours per year. Okay.
Yes, yeah, and we will pay with as follow. For example, 150% on weekday, 200% on weekend days, and 300% on holiday, and paid leave. Yes.
Is compensation of allowed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and and 300% for the over 130% for night shifts.
Okay.
Yes, and the overtime calculation is based on the actual wage if the worker earns on piece wage.
Okay.
Yeah. The night shift allowance, So I already mentioned that we got the 130% of the standard day shift wage. Yeah. The night shift overtime compensation. The employee works overtime during the night time. The way payable for his overtime working hour is calculated, including the times, the night shift allowance, and the overtime compensation as well, including.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. So should we move on to the next page?
For the benefit,
okay.
I quick brief about the benefits a little bit. It's quite long.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. For the Vietnam's labor law, we have the regulation for the annual leave, and in general, 12 working days.
Okay.
Yes, and we will increase the numbers of days 5 years per times.
Okay.
Yeah. For the holiday, we will have the full 10-day holiday, national holiday. Yes.
Okay.
For the social insurance, medical insurance, we will have a very clearly about the social insurance, medical insurance, and this the mandatory need to work. We have the separate female labor regulation. Like above, we mentioned that we respect the female workers. So for the label, the employer is not allowed to use a female employee for heavy or dangerous jobs. Yes, we have the regulations for the maternity leave. in Vietnam now, the timing for the woman who has the maternity leave is 6 months.
Wow, so good. Full pay?
The government has pay.
Okay.
During the
pays. Okay.
yes, during the maternity leave. So
Is
the government pays
100% pay?
100%.
Okay, wow, very good. 6 months. Wow.
Yeah, 6 months too long, right?
yeah. Very lucky for you for the female staff, right? Female
Yes, and even
like you,
even
right?
the and even the husband or the wife the husband has the maternity leave as well. When his wife 5 days.
Oh, 5 days. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, 5 days.
Oh, okay. That is good, huh? Yeah. Better than none.
Yes. For the child care, so we for the child care, so we regulate that where a high number of female employees are employed. The employer shall have the responsibility to assist in making arrangements for the child, like the kindergarten, setting up, or in covering part of expense for the female to place children. Yes. So you, if you come to Vietnam and you see that some manufacturing using the most female, so we have the children kindergarten as well.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. So lucky.
Yeah. So next slide, right?
Okay,
please.
Sure.
The maximum hour we already mentioned about. That's maximum 80 hours per week, and for the overtime we have maximum 200 hours per year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yes.
Okay.
For the working environment, we have the regulations for the enterprise, including the manufacturing, hospital, hotel, restaurant, where you solid waste, liquid waste, and gas waste need a treatment before discard to outsider. The treatment system must be approved by the Department of Environment. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, next.
Yes. The communication of and record keeping, monitoring, and compliance work contract for the working contract need to make in writing and must be in duplicate with each contracting party retaining one copy. And in the for the contracting, we will have the arrangement employment contract is an agreement between the employee and the employer regarding to the compensation and benefit, condition of work, the rights and the obligation of each party. And we have the three terms of labor contract. The first term is less than 12 months. The second term is from 12 months to 66 months, from 1 and 3 years. And the third term is the third term is indefinite contract.
A little
Yes.
bit like China. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Move
so
on.
Next.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. For the posting, the posting following our law regarding to the discipline and factory regulation. The factory regulation must contain the time of work and time of rest, orderly in the factoring, health, safety, discipline practice, and the regulation must be communicated to every worker working in the factory, and both post in the essential area of the factory. Yes.
Okay.
So.
Hien, I have a question about staff termination, because I could remember, I think 3 years ago, and we wanted to fire a staff who made a lot of disruptions to the company. So in the end, we had to pay 2 years of salary to him.
2 years.
Yes, this is massive, right? But we were told that that's the law. So I wanted to know about staff termination. How do we, as HR, to handle staff termination? What is the compensation that we have to pay to the people that we have dismissed from the company?
Okay. If we want to terminate for one employee, we have the we have the how to say the for the labor law we need to compensate for them at least 2 months working 2 months salary only, not 2 years.
2 months only. But
at least to me minimum.
Okay, but how about if the employee is let go because of a performance issue?
Yes.
Does the law say that the company has to give them warning letters before we dismiss them? What will be the disciplinary
actions?
Yes. Yeah.
For the disciplinary action, with the employee verify and confirm about the employees force, and they release them following the discipline action. We don't need to pay for them anything.
How about we dismiss them during the contract period? Because you mentioned first year is 1 year, and then the second contract.
If we terminate the contract before the due date,
yes,
we need to to negotiate and agree with them about the amount, but at least 2 months salaries.
But that means, according to the law, we cannot terminate them during the contract period. Am I correct?
If they don't have any issues and they don't violate any regulation. If they violate the regulation, we terminate them through the discipline action, and we don't need to pay for them anything.
Oh. But if I can remember that at that time, the company did not have the labor, the internal regulations. That's why there's no way that we can tell the employee that, oh, you are in breach of a certain clauses and so forth. Because of that, the company agreed to pay him, I think, 2 years of salary. That was the first time.
Lucky man.
Yeah, he's very lucky, and actually he was very disruptive. And he sent out lots of emails to a lot of employees, trying to say that, oh, this employee was no good, the employee was no good. And because he was working in the IT department, from time to time he will try to pick on some of the confidential emails.
Yeah.
And a lot of this kind of stuff, and also he openly scold people, and then try to fight with the other employees. A lot of this kind of disruptive behavior. But at that time we did not. At that time we did not have the labor internal regulations. That's why we went nowhere to tell him that this was against the rules of the company. So is that the case? Without that internal regulations, there's not that employer can do nothing about it. Is that the case?
Yes.
Oh, really?
No. Sorry. No. Normally, when we have the such behavior like this, we need to work strictly with the workers, and with the employee, and following our company regulation. We have the right to release them.
But at that time, we did not have the internal regulations. That was
You can inform the labor department office,
telling them that this employee
yeah,
was having this behavior, and
yeah,
even though we do
yeah,
not have the internal regulation,
yeah,
we still can
yeah,
go to the labor department.
yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or the trade union of that province, so they can support for the company to solve that issues. Yes.
I see. But I know that this internal regulation, what's the name of it? I can't remember. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
Without it, the company will have a lot of labor issues, and they always go nowhere to resolve it without the internal regulation book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that regulation book has to be registered with the labor department. It has to be signed
Yes.
off by them, right? Because before it becomes effective.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was for me, is a very sort of memorable, sort of not in a pleasant way, of terminating an employee, and the company ended up giving him 2 years of salary. That was massive.
Too much.
Yeah, too much.
10 times.
But I think at that time I cannot remember the case very, very clearly. That was a few years back. But we did check with the lawyer, and the lawyer did suggest that I think at the end we negotiate, and then after that we end up paying him 2 years of salary, because we negotiated. And then, but I can't remember all the details, but that was really bad for a company, right? The company had to pay so much to an employee.
Yes, so much. 10 times as normal.
Yeah, that's right, 10 times. And this is what he was asking for. And then, but that guy was really disruptive. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have other questions. And I understand that Rose is on the phone, right? Rose, would you like to say something? If you have any question for Hien, just unmute yourself and then ask any questions, Rose. Rose, any question from your side? Rose, can you hear me? Maybe she did not hear me. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, so Rose. Okay. Anyway, so Hien, do you have anything to add before we end the session today?
For the Vietnamese law in private, or the labor law in other countries, I think this how to say, the huge topic we could discuss or talk. So today I just how to say, on behalf of Vietnamese HR to share with you and the ASEAN HR community a little bit about the Vietnamese labor law, and hope it's useful for all of you.
Okay, got it. Okay, so thank you, Hien, for the wonderful session. And so we are, as mentioned earlier, we are going to have a watch party so that the other parties other members can have a better idea on what the labor code in Vietnam is about. So thanks, Hien, again, and have a nice weekend. So that would be the end of the session today. Thank you, Hien.
Yes, thank you.
Rose. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.